antisocial behaviour.
Yeah, antisocial behaviour.
It happens.
Antisocial behaviour, no doubt. You ask anyone around here what they want dealt with as antisocial behaviour.
Yeah, but what is antisocial behaviour?
It says here, antisocial behaviour is any unreasonable disturbance or annoyance that upsets or harasses other people.
Yeah, it's only right that people know what antisocial behaviour really means. And how it's dealt with. And by who.
It can offend or damage someone's feelings or property. I bet you didn't know that.
Yeah, they've got that right. And it's also the view of Sutton Housing Partnership, SHP, who believes that all its residents should be able to enjoy their homes in peace. Unfortunately though, there's occasions when some people are denied this right, either by harassment or through the inconsiderate behaviour of other people.
I don't think a lot of people know how to deal with antisocial behaviour.
So tell us, who deals with antisocial behaviour around here?
Well, this film will explain how different organisations and people work together to deal with antisocial behaviour in Sutton, and to prevent it happening again. Here's a list of who's involved. SHP's antisocial behaviour team and neighbourhood managers, Sutton Council, the police, including the Safer Neighbourhood teams, problem-solving groups that involve all those partner organisations, and more importantly, you and the community you live in.
Wow, that's a lot of names.
But I want to know what they can do. Like, how can they take action?
Yeah, that's the big question. But just what kind of action?
OK then, there are several ways that antisocial behaviour can be dealt with. The film will describe them and explain what might be appropriate in different situations. We'll talk about obtaining evidence, mediation, acceptable behaviour contracts, or ABCs as they're better known, and as a last resort, eviction. But there are things that can prevent ASB happening in the first place, and we'll look at those later in the film. We also want to show you what happens when a complaint about antisocial behaviour is made, and what SHP can do to deal with them. An important part of this is the support given to victims of antisocial behaviour. We'll meet Doug and Sandy, who are having trouble with noisy, smelly dogs that seem to be locked up all day, every day, and they're going barking mad.
There must be 2 or 3 dogs in that flat. And they're noisy things.
They're locked in there all day. Owners are out. Don't care about the dogs, don't care about the neighbours.
It's a constant barking and a scratching. It is doing my nut. I mean, the mess in there, it must be disgusting. What sort of people let this happen?
Do you know, I feel so sorry for those dogs.
But it's against the tenancy agreement, isn't it? Keeping a dog is one thing, but that just ain't on.
It's got to be dealt with. It's not fair and it's not right.
We'll talk with Jean, who feels afraid and nervous about reporting her fears and just hopes it'll all go away. First though, let's look at Sylvie, who is more than fed up.
You know what? It's the noise. It's the banging of the doors, the screaming, the shouting. It's doing my head in. But the joke of it is, it's not even the noise. It's the time. It's at all hours. It wakes me and my kids up. I've hardly had a wink of sleep, and neither have me kids. You know what? I've had it up to here. I really have. I just want something, anything done about this noise. Please.
Whoa, no wonder they're upset. Imagine if that were you. So what should you do if something like noise or any other form of antisocial behaviour is affecting you? If you're a Sutton Housing Partnership tenant or leaseholder and bothered by behaviour you think is unreasonable, get in touch with SHP's customer care team. The number's on the screen and is shown again at the end of this film. Customer care will record and pass your complaint to specially trained staff who will look at the details of the problem and decide the best way to deal with it. Sue and Lucinda are SHP neighbourhood managers. Maureen is an antisocial behaviour officer, one of SHP's specialist ASB team.
This noise is serious. We need to decide what action to take.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, Sylvia's literally losing sleep over this.
She is.
So we need to find out who it is who's causing the nuisance, and is there a pattern to the behaviour?
It's your estate, isn't it, Sue?
Yep, it is. So I'll set up the case file. We'll have to record everything that's said, of course, or everything that's alleged to have been said. Sylvie is, of course, a notifying person who made the complaint, so I'll make sure that I speak to her and let her know that we've got an active case file and that I'm handling it.
Yeah, I think you should definitely visit Sylvie and the noisy neighbours. Try to get some more information.
Okay.
I mean, that's if Sylvie gives you permission, obviously.
Right.
If you complain about antisocial behaviour, you're what's known as a notifying person. SHP will contact you within 24 hours and will aim to interview you within 5 working days.
So if antisocial behaviour happens to someone, they report it to SHP?
And they'll do something about it. If they can.
Let's catch up with Sue. She's meeting Sylvie.
Right, just take a seat over here. Yeah, lovely. Do you want a cup of tea or anything?
Actually, yeah, that'd be great.
Yeah?
Thanks.
Alright, just gonna go put the kettle on.
Okay.
Right, that's the kettle on. Brew up in a minute.
So how are you, Sylvie?
Oh, God, don't ask.
Now, with the noise, Sylvie, you've got to let us know what you want us to do.
Have I? What does it mean that you're going to go around and visit these noisy people? Look, I just want the noise to stop. I want it to go away. Look, I'm really worried about getting involved.
Yeah.
It's worrying me kids.
And I understand that, Sylvie, but yes, I do need to go around and visit them because they need to know what's been reported and they need to have an opportunity to give their say, if anything.
Okay.
So I do need your permission on this, Sylvie.
But my permission? I've already given you loads of information. It's all written down on your forms, isn't it?
And that's good, Sylvie. It's all useful information. You know, the diary sheets and the notes, they pinpoint exactly when you say the nuisance is disturbing you. So it's good stuff.
Oh, I see. Yeah, but what you're saying, is it all down to me?
You're not alone on this, okay, with our help. But you do need to be involved in the whole process. You've got to be involved in every action that takes place from the beginning to the end.
Right, okay.
So, have you ever considered mediation?
Mediation? What's that?
Okay, have a look at these. Think about it, and I'll tell you what, I'll go pour you some tea. Is that all right?
Yeah, all right then, yeah, it's just in the corner.
Okay.
Oh.
So let's find out from Sue what she thinks so far.
Well, we will contact and visit the neighbours, in this case, the noisy neighbours, but I really feel that mediation is the answer here. I mean, we haven't come to a stage where this is so out of hand that they can't sit across the table with each other and discuss the issues. You know, and the thing is, mediation, it's best when it's brought early in a dispute or any disagreement that they might have. So I'm just hoping that, you know, Sylvie will go along with this. Really am.
Mediation involves an impartial person who intervenes in a dispute and negotiates an agreement that's acceptable to everyone. Mediation is confidential, it's fair, and it's free.
Now, the thing is, Sylvie, is that this is basically down to a lot of people not realising that their lifestyle is different to others.
Right.
And once that's pointed out to them, they generally do change and are more considerate. And so mediation, it reminds them of the good neighbour agreement that we have in place.
Oh. So, what you're saying, does it mean that this whole mediation thing, have I got to be sitting down discussing it with my neighbours? Oh, look, I just want it to go away. So, yeah, but the thing is, do all tenants have this good neighbour agreement thing?
Yes, all tenants have it.
But my question to you, Sue, is will this whole mediation thing solve the problem? You know, I'm just sick of it. I want the noise to stop. You know, if I'm going to be sitting down discussing it all with my neighbours, I want some results, and now!
Okay. I mean, the thing is, mediation, it's very effective. It works for a lot of people.
Right.
Okay? I can't say it necessarily will work, but it does work for a lot of people, and that's why we use it. But the thing is, Sylvie, you do need to play your part in this.
Right, okay.
Is that okay?
Well, yeah. If we're going to be getting to the bottom of it, we're going to have to do something, aren't we? And with your help, then I suppose we can make it work. I just need to get to the bottom of it. I don't want to noise anymore.
I understand.
Yeah?
Okay, that's good.
All right, then thanks, Sue.
No, you're welcome.
So it looks like Sue and Sylvie have agreed a way forward. But sometimes ASB is more complicated to sort out. Noise is often about faultlessness, but what happens when it's malicious or intentional? We're now talking about hate behaviour. Hate behaviour involves abuse because of someone's race, disability, gender, faith or belief, age, religion or sexual orientation. All behaviour of this kind is always taken very seriously. If this is the case, an ASB officer will interview you within 2 working days. Let's meet Jean, who appears to have a more serious problem and is looking for some reassurance. So what's happening, Jean?
They said they'd come and see me. They said it would be confidential.
Thankfully it's rare, but sometimes very serious complaints are received. SHP works alongside the police safer neighbourhood teams and other specialist partner agencies. Together, they work with people to make sure the best action is taken and that every case is dealt with effectively to try to stop the problem ever happening again. Let's see what Maureen can tell us about Jean.
Well, I've arranged to see Jean at her sister's house, which is a safe, neutral location, so that I can take a statement from her, and then that'll help us to get some more information about all her concerns. Oh, last week's problem-solving meeting we had discussed Jean's fears, and we came up with an action plan, which is what we always like to implement whenever there's a threat of violence or harassment. An action plan sets out what we can do, what others can do, and how long it's all likely to take. And we always ask for the notifying person's consent, in this case that would be Jean, before we implement any stage of the plan.
This is a problem-solving group in action. These meetings take place at least every 2 weeks, and they look at issues that affect people's lives in the community. The group investigates all antisocial behaviour in Sutton. The problem-solving groups make sure all partner agencies are working well, oversee any action plans, and take the lead in any enforcement that may be necessary. The most important thing is being able to prove it's happening.
Trouble with most things, it's one word against the other. Did they, didn't they? What happened? Who said what?
You've got to prove things. That's the problem. It all comes down to the evidence.
Having evidence of antisocial behaviour, that's the main thing, isn't it?
Look, if you haven't got any proof, then there's not much that can be done, really.
Sounds reasonable to me.
Good word. Reasonable.
Cheers.
At Jean's sister's house, Maureen and Jean are in serious conversation. The most serious antisocial behaviour worries a lot of people. The antisocial behaviour team is qualified to make sure the best course of action will be the most effective, but it still requires evidence.
We can do a lot of things to help and support you, you know. I mean, the safer neighbourhood teams, they probably already know who these people are and where they can find them.
Well, I've heard that you can provide me with equipment to help me keep safe at home.
Well, yes, that's possible, but to be honest, it's very rarely needed. Now, look, Jean, I want to reassure you that your name won't be used in any investigation of this kind, all right? Everything you say to me is all completely confidential.
Oh, then my evidence is secret.
Yes, that's right. Everything you say in your statement, that'll only be used by ourselves and the Safer Neighbourhood team. And then we'll suggest how we should proceed from there. Now, if you do decide to go to court, then we will need you to give evidence. Because we can't do it without you, Jean. But it'll be up to you to decide how we proceed.
But supposing they know who I am? Oh, supposing they know that I've reported them?
Now listen, Jean. Your safety is absolutely our #1 priority, all right? We're going to support you every step of the way. I mean, I'm going to be here. You can contact me anytime you like and arrange to meet me wherever you want, all right? Actually, I've got some more information in the car which explains all this a lot better, so I'll just go and get that. Then you can discuss it with your sister, all right?
Oh, that'd be great. Thank you. Yes.
Here's a chance for Maureen to give us her view on Jean's case.
Well, we do understand that Jean is obviously very concerned, but we have a very comprehensive support package which is designed to not only keep Jean safe in her own home, but also to minimise any risk of her getting involved. But if she does decide to go to court, then we'll be with her, because Jean's evidence is crucial in these cases of, serious harassment and hate behaviour. I mean, it's awful, but we do have ways of dealing with it. And what's important is for people in Jean's situation to understand that reporting this sort of behaviour is absolutely the right thing to do. We're going to do whatever we can to help, all right? Now, SHP and our partners, we can use our equipment in order to gather film evidence, and then that gets put together with your evidence, and it builds a stronger case, okay? Now, is this the best place to meet you? Do you feel comfortable talking to me here?
Yes, my sister's place is fine. Thank you. I can talk to you properly.
Oh, well, that's great. Well, then let's plan what we're going to do next.
Okay.
Let's hope that Jean's feeling a bit more reassured that she's getting the help she needs.
I've got evidence now.
Of what, exactly?
You lot hanging around, doing nothing.
What? Hanging around's a nuisance. So what's your point? We're just hanging around. There's nothing wrong with that.
But you know what is a nuisance? Go on. I've got double maths tomorrow. Not good.
Your trainers, they are a nuisance.
The antisocial behaviour team controls all ASB investigations, from the initial complaint through to coordinating any actions. Neighbourhood managers will carry out most of the investigations, but all action plans are reported to the problem-solving meetings. That's their job, to solve problems. Which reminds me, how are Sue and Sylvie getting on?
No, you're welcome. But just keep me posted, yeah?
I sure will.
All right then.
All right, take care.
And you.
All right,
bye.
So Sue, how have you left it with Sylvie?
Well, we have agreed that I will contact the noisy neighbours, we'll present them with Sylvie's evidence, and we'll suggest a mediation meeting. And the thing is, I think they'll go for that. I mean, it makes sense. I mean, what we'll do is we'll link it in with the good neighbour agreement, and that should cover all bases. The thing is, Sylvie, she doesn't want them evicted. She just wants some peace and quiet, and some respect. And that makes sense. It's reasonable. It really is.
Sometimes it's not only the noise that's causing the problem. Doug and Sandy have a case of the canine variety. What's next, Maureen?
Well, we've also got a problem with animals in a flat, and we need to have a look at what's going on there and see if the tenants are breaking their tenancy agreement, and also what we can do about the animals' welfare. Well, Lucinda is the neighbourhood manager there, so she'll go and interview the person who made the complaint and explore what options there are for things we can do with the animals.
So what's going on here then?
Oh, well, noise is one issue, but if there are animals or cruelty or something else involved, then we have to see if we need to get one of our partner agencies involved. There seems to be two issues in this case. There's the welfare of the animals, and also there's whether the irresponsible behaviour of the tenants is actually breaking the tenancy agreement.
All SHP tenancies and leases have conditions. Some of these conditions refer specifically to the behaviour of the residents, their families, and people visiting both in and around the property, and any animals they might have.
Hello, here's Steve Douglas Wade. Is he available?
Doug?
Yeah.
You?
Hello, Mr. Wade. I'm Lucinda Jones. I've got a meeting with you at 10:30. Is it alright if I come in?
Any antisocial behaviour that breaches a tenancy condition can lead to county court action. The court has the power to impose restrictions on a tenancy, reduce its security, or even take it away altogether through what's known as a possession order.
So, if the tenants are breaking the tenancy agreement, there's a number of different options. There's an ABC.
ABC, what's that?
It is an acceptable behaviour contract. That's where we ask someone to commit to changing their behaviour. It's usually used for young people misbehaving, not with dogs, but we can just take away the owner's right to keep the dogs in the apartment. Or, if there's enough evidence to show that the breach of contract is bad enough, we can ask for a possession order, which would mean that the tenants and the dogs are evicted.
So, breach of tenancies, injunctions, evictions. It all sounds interesting, lots of choices. But I mean, we just want our problems solved. We want to be left in peace.
Doug, do you really want to see the tenants evicted?
All right, and the problem just go away. It ain't going to happen, Sandy. I mean, what do we want out of all this?
Well, why don't we start by showing the video evidence? I mean, the neighbours don't need to see the evidence, do they? They're not going to know it's us, are they?
By now, it's very obvious that information such as details, times, dates, pictures, and even sound can be really helpful in gathering evidence. There must be a very clear picture, though, of the problem if any discussion about enforcement involves the courts or the legal system.
I mean, we just couldn't carry on.
No, it's good, it's good. Obviously we couldn't use it in a court, but it all helps to build up the case. What I can do is I can go and speak to the tenants. I don't have to disclose where I got the evidence from, but if they know there is evidence, it's more than likely that they'll try and sort out the problem before we have to take any further action.
It's those poor dogs I feel sorry for. I mean, those tenants should know better.
Oh, these things do happen and they get out of control. I mean, we want you to have control over this complaint, so you're happy with any of the decisions that are being made. I can go to the council dog warden, or I can contact the RSPCA.
I mean, something's got to be done about them animals. Something's got to be done about the tenants. I mean, surely the RSPCA can deal with the animals.
Yeah, look after them. Or find someone who can. Doug, evicting the tenants isn't going to solve the problem, is it? Dealing with the dogs is going to get rid of the noise and the mess and everything.
That's fine. I can get in contact with them for you, and the RSPCA and myself can go and visit the tenants. Also, we can write them a formal letter setting out exactly what action can be taken against the tenancy, so they know what steps they have to take, you know, if they value their tenancy, what they have to do.
Well, it's good to know there's some choices and there's some options. I mean, I was ready just to kick them all out.
Yeah, but these are common sense choices.
Not all sense is common, Sandy, unfortunately.
Too true. But there are always choices and options. In Sutton, the Safer Neighbourhood teams and SHP's antisocial behaviour team work hard to manage cases and to work on ways to prevent problems happening again in future.
Our job is to explain the options that exist and what enforcement action can be taken. You know, whether you're happy with the decisions, what the consequences are.
Well, I mean, the consequences are that the dogs will be cared for properly at last. I mean, those owners, they really should know better.
And the nuisance can go away, and I can get this blooming noise and this smell out of my head.
And the tenants face up to their responsibilities. We could recommend serving a notice seeking possession if the flat is in poor condition. This is a clear legal warning that things have got to change. If this is ignored, we could seek an injunction based on your evidence. This leaves a tenancy in place and we shouldn't need to enforce a notice.
So that means the dogs could stay, but the tenants get a warning that there's any more nuisance, that serious action is going to be taken. Well, that seems like the right thing to do.
It's perfect.
I mean, that takes the biscuit, Sandy.
Oi.
Do you want a biscuit?
All right, thanks.
Suit yourself.
Yeah, I suppose anti-social behaviour is just part of the wider agenda, really.
Yeah. Yes, yeah. I mean, Sutton wants to promote successful, cohesive communities that work together to understand local issues and that work to solve problems as and when they arise.
Local initiatives and projects.
Yeah, I mean, involving people and working with those living in the community, well, that helps everyone to understand what is not acceptable and, more importantly, what is acceptable.
Isn't all bad behaviour bad, though?
Hanging around isn't bad. I mean, throwing your rubbish and your cans on the floor isn't that bad neither, is it?
Not as bad as abuse, but it depends on where you throw them.
So, badness depends on how you see it. But racial abuse is bad.
That's proper bad.
Barking dogs ain't that bad. Depends why they're barking though. Different people see things in different ways.
Yeah, it could be the dog or the owners.
The thing is, you've got to judge things according to what they are.
Not all unacceptable or annoying behaviour can be called antisocial. A lot of behaviour is simply thoughtless and can be sorted out quickly and easily just by talking it through. The antisocial behaviour team can't solve it on their own. They rely on the help from people complaining, i.e. the notifying person, to gather evidence and to support the actions that the team can take. Sometimes the complaint can't be taken any further, usually because there's a lack of support or evidence, or there are simply no powers to do anything, like stopping groups of young people standing around doing nothing. Now there's something that everyone can do to help stop antisocial behaviour.
There's a word for that, isn't there?
One word. Personal responsibility.
What? That's 2 words.
There must be loads of things going on to get people involved in their communities.
Didn't somebody mention community confusion? What's all that about?
No, you mean community cohesion.
That's the one.
And that's what we're after.
Yeah, in Sutton there are community initiatives that recognise how people working together with a common interest can prevent and deal with antisocial behaviour. Projects involving sport are popular, so are festivals and fun days. It's a really positive way to engage local people in things that are enjoyable. Look out for information on local football and sports projects, community fun days, festivals and other events, good neighbour agreements, estate walkabouts, and people that get together to solve local issues. Altogether, it's known as community cohesion.
There's more going on here than I realised.
This community cohesion you're on about, it sounds a pretty good idea, doesn't it?
Helping to keep people like you off the street.
It's funny.
I went to one of them football days, and my mum, she loves the festivals.
SHP, with its partners, sets out to encourage all kinds of community projects that can involve people of all ages. The messages are clear enough. There are often better things to do than standing around. Residents groups and community centres will have information about what's going on in your neighbourhood. The community cohesion projects are crucial to making prevention work, because this involves the community itself. But they'll only be successful with your commitment and your support.
There must be loads of things we could do, or people can do to find out more. Surely all they need to do is just ask.
The information's there.
All over the place, on the web.
Talk to police, teachers.
Anybody else?
Talk to SHP.
That just about sums it up. As you can see, ASB involves a lot of things and a lot of people. We couldn't cover everything here, but we hope we've given you some assurance that SHP takes ASB seriously, as well as giving you an insight into what you can expect if you report it. At the end of this film is a list of names, addresses and contact numbers that you might want to refer to in future. Together, we can prevent and resolve ASB in Sutton. See ya.